Experience the thrill and terror of coming face to face with nature's fiercest on camera. These encounters will leave you speechless. If there is one animal you should never underestimate in the wild, it's a lion. And yet some hunters think they can take one on with ease. And well, let's just say these encounters often go wrong. Hunting lions for sport is illegal, so there's a reason why this lion is being targeted. But of course, that doesn't make it any less egregious. Still, the lion's pride remains intact throughout the encounter as it races toward the hunter despite all the shots fired. Even though multiple hunters are firing, the lion still reigns supreme, attacking them and fleeing the scene, which shows how mighty and majestic these creatures are. A pair of skiers, just trying to enjoy the snow, can be seen having second thoughts about going down the hill after encountering this on their way. Moose can be dangerous if provoked or if they feel threatened, especially during mating season or when protecting their young.
Tu as un zoom sur la tienne?
While they are still trying to decide what they are going to do, the moose does something that shocks the two skiers. Moose can run at speeds of up to 35 miles per hour or 56 kilometers per hour for short distances. Thankfully, they didn't get hit, but things could have turned out worse. Nature is metal. Sometimes it's so unrelenting that it catches you off guard and leaves you breathless. For instance, this hunter who's just caught a fish with his spear is about to get a scary little surprise. A massive shark appears out of nowhere and pounces on the fish he's caught. Now the tables have turned and the diver has to swim his way to safety. But once again, things keep going wrong for him because there's another shark attack in store.
Yo, yo. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
He frantically swims away from the shark, praying it doesn't get any closer. He probably can't believe his luck. This next encounter shows the terrifying reality of nature and how brutal its ally is towards its inhabitants. The lions can be seen being outnumbered by aggressive hyenas, making them fight with everything they have. Hyenas and lions are often considered competitors rather than enemies, as they both compete for similar prey in overlapping territories. Hyenas and lions typically fight over food or territory, engaging in aggressive displays, such as growling, posturing, and occasionally physical combat. These circumstances happen more today because of the changes in the climate. Diving into shark-infested waters is always an extreme sport, no matter how experienced you are. Take this diver, for example, who thought he could quickly dip in, spear a lionfish, and get out. He's backed into a corner, stuck under the ledge, and with over 20 sharks coming in hot, he's in real danger. It's a tricky situation, and the diver has to keep his cool, because otherwise the sharks could obliterate him. One of the sharks goes in for the attack, trying to bite the diver, but he pushes it back with his spear. It's all kicking off, but the diver knows what he's doing and somehow manages to squeeze his way out. Watch this video and let us know in the comments how many birds you see in this shocking encounter. The man can be seen petting the chick while it desperately tries to scare the man away, only to keep failing. Urutau birds, also known as potus, are nocturnal birds native to Central and South America and are known for their camouflage and haunting calls. While petting the chick, the man turns to another side of the tree only to reveal something really shocking. Spotting Urutau birds can be challenging due to their excellent camouflage. Look for their silhouettes resembling tree branches during the day, or listen for their distinctive calls at night. This video serves as a testament to how good at camouflage these birds are. In what can only be described as one of the most spectacular encounters ever recorded, a diver goes underwater to hunt invasive lionfish when an unwelcome guest decides to show up. The shark seems to have seen red with the captured lionfish pouncing on it like it's famished. But with the hunter trying to move the spear away, the shark gets agitated and things take another bizarre turn. The shark leaps toward the diver and bumps into him. It keeps trying to attack the diver, chowing down on his spear and getting close to biting him. What's crazy about the encounter is that it's all extraordinarily chaotic and happens within the blink of an eye. This next encounter features another MMA fighter, but this encounter is much more dangerous than the last. This man can be seen wrestling a terrifying grizzly bear, its claws moments away from ripping this man's back. A grizzly bear is significantly stronger than a human, with estimates suggesting they can be up to 20 times stronger. Wrestling with a grizzly bear is extremely dangerous due to their immense strength and unpredictability, risking severe injury or death. It seems like this bear is friendly to humans, hence this encounter not ending disastrously. It doesn't take a genius to know that you probably shouldn't trespass on a lion's territory. And yet these hunters thought they could just sneak up on a pride without any repercussions, a decision they sorely regret. Things kicked off when the lions decided to charge the hunters, and with no vehicle to escape in and lions coming at them from every direction, the hunters didn't have an escape plan, making this a life-or-death situation for them. Gunshots filled the air amidst all the chaos as the hunters tried to fire at the lions and then sprint their way to safety. The guns eventually stopped the onslaught, but the lions still had the last laugh as they roared in majesty after driving the hunters out of their territory. A group of photographers watch and record as a male bear approaches a female bear walking around with cubs. Nursing bears can be more defensive and protective of their cubs, potentially exhibiting increased aggression if they perceive a threat to their offspring. This fact is showcased quickly when the male bear decides to run toward the family, making the nursing bear do this. The photographers watch in awe as the female predator tries her best to protect her cubs from this opportunistic male. Fortunately, she was able to repel the male bear with a charge. Wild boars can be a real pain to hunt, despite their small size, especially when agitated, and this hunter's about to experience that tenacity firsthand. Despite the hunter's preparation, after hearing the commotion between his dog and the boar, the beast is too quick and escapes the hunter's grasp. But this hunt isn't over just yet, and he'll meet the boar again after following its trail. Once again, the boar catches the hunter off guard, slipping through the bushes and avoiding the dog. Even though the hunter tries to chase it down again, he has to admit defeat and live to fight another day. The Tyron Spong, a kickboxing world champion, is suddenly put into an unexpected fight after seeing this slithering in the middle of the road. When encountering a large python, remain calm, back away slowly, and avoid sudden movements to minimize the risk of provoking an attack. This kickboxer had other plans in mind, though, because as soon as he saw the snake, he had only one goal in mind. He proceeds to drag the animal around the road, takes a picture with it, and then proceeds to load it onto his pickup truck. His quick reflexes really came in handy when he was trying to catch the predator. Over in Poland, a hunter prepares for something to emerge from the bushes. He's managed to antagonize a wild animal, and now he's got his rifle ready to deal with the situation. The animal he's about to encounter is quick, so much so that it could easily catch him off guard. He's probably regretting his decision to come out here and mess with the wildlife because things are about to go very wrong for him. In the blink of an eye, a deer leaps out of the bushes and tackles the hunter full force, knocking him down. As for the hunter, all he can do is lie down on the ground and accept defeat against the might of nature. In another case, hunters grossly underestimate wildlife. These guys thought they had things covered when they headed into the woods for hog hunting with their rifles, and man, were they wrong. The hogs were too clever for the hunters' single-shot rifles, dodging the bullets and running after them. To make matters worse, the boars were determined to teach their attackers a lesson they'd never forget. Within seconds, dozens of wild boars descended upon the hunters, and all they could do was fire in sheer panic. At this moment, they probably wished they'd prepped better and brought an AR-15 to this war zone. This hotel receptionist is just trying to work his shift when all of a sudden an unexpected visitor comes walking in. Still trying to process what is going on, he decides that the best thing to do in this situation is to record this unbelievable encounter. Bears can be aggressive if they feel threatened, or if they perceive humans as a threat to their cubs or territory. The animal continues exploring the hotel lobby. At one point in time, it even gives the hotel receptionist a terrifying look. According to the video source, the bear was safely escorted outside after a while. Black bears are scary, but you know what's even more terrifying? Female bears trying to protect their cubs. Seriously, you don't want to mess with them because they'll charge you without a second thought. This hunter has just stumbled upon a female black bear, but rather than running for his life, he decides to stand his ground, telling the beast to get out instead. And that, folks, will turn out to be a massive mistake.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Hey! 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 I'm gonna
Even when the hunter successfully scares her off the first time, he stands his ground, inching closer to her cub on the tree, which triggers another reaction out of the bear.
Hey! Knock it off!
Finally catching something while fishing in the middle of the ocean, this group of friends prepare to take their catch when this happens.
Oh my God.
Squid produce ink by expelling a mixture of melanin, mucus, and other substances from a sac near their digestive gland. Squid ink is generally not dangerous for consumption, but it can cause staining and potential allergic reactions in some individuals. After getting hit by squid ink, this guy and his friends laugh about this encounter. Fortunately, he wasn't allergic, or things could have taken a darker turn. It's an astonishing encounter in the wild as a hunter perches himself atop a hill, patiently waiting for a bear to step out and become his target. He's been waiting long and can't afford to miss the shot. After all, you don't want an angry bear charging you. However, just as he's lined up his shot, the hunter's caught off guard by what appears from within the woods.
Mama, the two cubs out front.
The bear isn't alone. It's a female bear with cubs following behind, which is the worst-case scenario for this hunter because mother bears are notoriously aggressive in protecting their cubs, and you don't want to mess with them. The hunter holds his breath, praying the female bear doesn't notice him. But there's no way he can avoid a mother's intuition. She's already sensed that her cubs are in danger, and things will get nasty now. That went as smoothly as it could have. What would you do if you were driving on a road like any other normal day when all of a sudden you encounter this? Ducks gather and walk in circles as a way to establish a sense of security and create a safe space for resting. I don't think this is the case in this encounter, though. What these ducks are doing here is nothing short of strange. Unfortunately, we cannot provide you with any reason as to why they're doing this. Speaking of hunters trapped in tricky situations, this guy has managed to attract one of the most vicious animals in the wild, a massive bull elk, and despite his attempts to remain camouflaged, he can't escape the beast's gaze. Even if the elk doesn't instantly spot the hunter, it knows he's there, stopping in its tracks and observing the surroundings. And just when the hunter thinks he is about to be attacked, the elk does something genuinely unexpected. The elk has powerful feelings about the hunter's smell. A lady can be seen approaching a moose lying down on their porch, while her husband records her from a distance.
She's like trying to touch this moose. It's not
Moose are typically not aggressive towards humans, but they can become defensive if they feel threatened or if humans approach too closely, especially during mating or calving season. Her husband tells her that it's not a good idea, but she refuses to listen and continues approaching the animal until it does this. Moose can range from 5.6 to 6.9 feet, or 1.7 to 2.1 meters tall at the shoulder. The moose doesn't harm them, and they leave before anything happens. In September 2016, a college student was out swimming off the coast of Santa Barbara, California with his friends when he had the most terrifying experience of his life. Despite being in just 10 feet of water, the student felt something aggressively bite down on his toes. He thought his friends were playing a prank on him, but a massive shark was attacking him. The shark kept coming back at him after wounding his foot, but luckily the student had a spear gun on him, which he used to stab the shark and push it back. It's a miracle he survived the encounter.
The shark came around. I gave him a nice little jab.
The shark's blood is still on the...
What was supposed to be a fun adventure in a tiger park quickly becomes dire for this group of tourists because of this. Tigers can jump up to 10 feet or 3 meters vertically, allowing them to leap over obstacles or catch prey with agility. Knowing this man appears to be in so much danger, because if they wanted to, these predators could easily snatch him from the roof. Humans are not a natural part of a tiger's diet, but in rare cases, tigers may attack humans if they feel threatened or are unable to find their usual prey. Unfortunately, we don't know how this encounter ends, as the clip cuts short. In yet another case where people underestimate the might of wild deer, a hunter slowly approaches a lone deer, thinking he could easily scare it away with some rocks and a stick. The deer springs into action, running circles around the hunter and his friend. But even though the hunter thinks he's managed to scare it away, the deer isn't just going to give up its territory so quickly. The deer keeps returning to take another stab at the hunter, trying to push him away, and eventually the hunters have to give up and move elsewhere. This next encounter was recorded during a demonstration about how to avoid getting constricted by a python.
นี่แหละครับสเต็ปครับเอาให้ได้ครับมันขึ้นแบบนี้แล้วครับ
Watch as this man uses different techniques and strategies so that he can prevent himself from being food for the predator.
การจุดลมหายใจคือสิ่งสำคัญที่สุดถ้าเราเป็นอย่างนี้เราปล่อยมัวจะสติแตกโดนไหมครับเรียบร้อยนะฮะ
Pythons kill prey by constricting them with their powerful coils, cutting off blood flow and suffocating the prey before swallowing it whole. At the end of the day, staying away from dangerous pythons is still the best defense. Continuing the theme of hunters being incredibly dumb, another guy thinks it's a good idea to walk up to a resting deer and provoke it. The deer doesn't look very scary and doesn't run when the hunter approaches it either. That doesn't mean he can just underestimate it though, because even if deer aren't the most aggressive animals in the wild, they can still cause some damage. After tolerating the hunter's advances for a few seconds, the deer decides it's had enough, getting up and tackling the guy. He'll never mess with another resting animal again. Over in Japan, a man's out fishing in a mountain stream when he notices some big claw marks on a tree nearby. He thinks it's a wild boar, but little does he know that he's about to face a terrifying foe. He feels something grab onto him from behind, and when he turns, realizes his life could end here because he's not up against a boar. He's fighting an actual bear. The man flails out in the heat of the moment, kicking the bear and sending it running back into the forest. But even though he's survived the first attack, the man isn't in the clear just yet. That fallen tree saved his life. After encountering a lion during a safari tour, this group of photographers immediately get to work taking pictures of the magnificent animal. Everything remains normal at first, but things take a dark turn after the predator notices them and decides to teach them a lesson.
They fool to some extent.
Lions have excellent vision, capable of seeing prey from several hundred meters away, helping them locate and stalk potential targets. Knowing this, it's no surprise that the fierce predator was able to notice the photographers invading its privacy. Fortunately for them, the animal stops at the very last second and walks away. Hunters often perch up on trees to get a better lay of the land and prevent wildlife from detecting them. But while that strategy usually works, it can also go wrong occasionally. Bears have climbed up on top of the tree stand, presumably to look for food, and one wrong move could result in the beasts attacking them. The hunter's reaction to the situation is even more surprising. The hunter giggles as the bear slowly climbs down next to him. He's probably shocked, because there's no way anyone could laugh in a life-threatening situation like this. After getting reports of a large snake terrorizing a small residential area, Animal Control immediately jumps into action, leading to this terrifying battle. The safest way to catch a snake is by using a snake hook or tongs to gently lift and support its body, keeping a safe distance from its head to avoid being bitten. Failing to catch the predator with the use of a snake hook, they eventually decide to resort to something extremely shocking. They were finally able to keep the predator at bay, releasing it into the wild afterward. Witness an incredible scene as a hunter fires a shot at a wild hog thinking he could get away with it. Little does he know, though, his gun has awakened something terrifying.
Get behind the tree, Jared. Stand up, stand up.
Loud boar noises echo through the air as the hunter hears multiple footsteps approaching rapidly. It turns out he's just fired into a massive sounder of boars, and now he has to face the music as they all rush toward him. 100 wild hogs rushed the hunters, trying to escape the gunfire. And if it weren't for the trees they were hiding behind, these guys would have been toast for sure. CCTV footage shows a woman exiting her residence when out of nowhere something shows up in front of her, leading to this.
Back up. One baby chair. Baby!
The man of the house immediately steps in and puts himself in danger too, underestimating this deer's strength. Deer are strong animals, capable of delivering powerful kicks with their legs when threatened or defending themselves against predators. The elderly man, unable to keep the deer at bay, is left with no choice but to let go and hope that it doesn't attack anymore.
Baby! I can't get the car. It's locked.
Oh, shit! Get around the other side of the car then!
Unable to take on the animal, they decide to take cover and wait till it's gone. And this next encounter begins with a teen trying to balance himself on top of a rock, after deciding that doing this would be a good idea.
Oh! Oh! Hey, that's all right. Get the paddle! Hey, get the paddle!
He's protecting his babies!
The otter nearby doesn't seem too impressed with this stunt, though, as it decides to show the teen that size doesn't matter.
Hey, Otter.
Hey!
Get away from his babies, though.
Hey, he's behind you.
Get on the paddleboard so we can get out of there, you guys.
Otters are not typically dangerous to humans, but they can become aggressive if provoked or threatened, using their teeth for defense.
I know, I see you.
Probably should run back.
Look there! Get up! Get up! You're me!
After realizing his mistake, the teen finally decides he'd better retreat, but does so in the most dangerous way possible. He remains safe, but I'm sure he learned his lesson that day. Moose are already scary animals, but some nasty boys in the wild are extra terrifying. This one, for example, carries battle scars and animal skin on its antlers, meaning it's seen a lot of action. The moose doesn't look pleased to see the hunter encroaching on its territory, but it's willing to give him a chance to repent, scratching its antlers and showing aggression to warn him about an incoming attack. The hunter's naive, though, continuing to film the agitated moose and ignore its warnings. A decision he'll deeply regret because the moose isn't sparing him now. Lady Luck is on the hunter's side because the moose leaves him alone once he hides behind a tree. During a snowy day, a man is walking towards the back of his pickup truck when, out of nowhere, he is greeted with a terrible surprise. Moose can charge at speeds of up to 35 miles per hour, or 56 kilometers per hour, making their charges incredibly powerful and dangerous. A moose charge can cause severe injuries or fatalities to humans due to their large size and the force generated by their speed. Those are things you need to know to remind yourself never to go near a moose. Luckily, he was able to dodge the attack in time. Things could have ended badly. Ever wondered what death looks like under that hood? Well, no need to imagine anymore. This video has all the answers you need. The divers are left frozen in fear, unable to move due to the risk of losing their face if they were to make a single wrong move. Shark teeth are extremely sharp with serrated edges designed for cutting through flesh and prey with precision. Obviously, this doesn't exclude us. So imagine the fear these divers are currently feeling as the predator decides to take a closer look. The animal thankfully gets bored of them and leaves them stunned, but unharmed. In an African safari, hunters brace themselves for an encounter that could end their lives. They've managed to trespass into elephants' territory, and the giant beasts aren't happy about it. With so many elephants walking up to them, there is no way the hunters can make a run for it. Their only choice is to hold their ground and hope the beasts feel merciful. It doesn't take long for things to go from 0 to 100 as a couple of angry elephants try charging the hunters from 2 different directions. But even though the hunters avoid the first wave of attack, there's more trouble on the way. When they think the encounter's over, another elephant steps away from the group to send a message to the hunters. It's safe to say they won't disrespect these majestic animals again. If someone offered me a large sum of money to ride a small canoe through a river filled with crocodiles, I wouldn't do it.
Bunch of crocs.
So imagine my confusion finding out that tourists think that doing this counts as an adventure. While slowly inching closer to the predators, the person recording the encounter is talking to his friend when all of a sudden he gets interrupted.
Oh God, Pete, your pedal's close to that one.
Crocodiles can swim at speeds of up to 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers per hour in short bursts, making them swift and efficient hunters in water. Unfortunately, the clip ends here, and it is unknown what happens next. Just off the coast of South Africa, a diver swims right down to the sea floor to hunt some fish with his spear. What he doesn't realize, however, is that he's being stalked by one of the most dangerous creatures in the world, the great white shark. The shark appears out of nowhere, catching the hunter off guard. Time slows down for him as he finds his bearings again and prepares for the inevitable attack. The shark keeps stalking the hunter without attacking him as he frantically swims back to the surface to alert his friends on the boat.
White! Pass off any white!
He's lucky the shark isn't in the mood to attack, because he's nowhere near quick enough to swim back to safety, and his spear isn't strong enough to repel a great white shark. Most wild animals may be scared of humans, but some of them can't help but scratch the curious itch they have. The tourists inside this car have no other choice but to keep themselves calm, as one wrong move could make their situation worse. Hyenas have powerful jaws and can cause serious injuries to humans if provoked or threatened, but such incidents are relatively rare. This hyena could easily break the car window if it wants to. What do you think would happen if it did? The animal eventually gets bored and leaves its victims terrified but unharmed. Moose are some of the most frightening animals you can encounter in the wild because, despite their massive size and docile appearance, they're quick and can cause real damage. The hunter knows how dangerous these beasts are, so he puts his hands up and makes his presence known, trying to back down slowly. He's made a big mistake by coming into the moose's territory and will have to pay for it. The hunter is smiling at the situation when the moose decides to ruin his mood and charges him. But when he lets his guard down again, thinking he's avoided the attack, the moose prepares to give him another reality check. This video begins with a large elephant chasing a group of tourists riding an open jeep through the safari. Elephants may charge when they feel threatened, startled, or protective of their territory, their young, or herd members, using it as a defense mechanism. I wonder what this group of tourists did to anger this normally docile creature. You think they'll be able to get out of this situation? Fortunately for them, the animal stops charging after the tourists leave its territory. Imagine you're a hunter out in the woods, struggling to find bears when one randomly appears out of nowhere and walks up to you alone. You're probably wondering why the hunter doesn't shoot the bear if he's out hunting for them. Well, that's because this one is a bit too young. Being young doesn't make the bear less dangerous, so it's a tricky situation for the hunter.
Nuh-uh.
The hunter's lucky that the bear isn't in a bad mood, because it could have quickly pounced on him, and he wouldn't have had the time to react. Paddleboarding is generally safe, but can pose risks such as drowning, collisions with other watercraft, or exhaustion if proper precautions and safety measures are not followed. Knowing this, you would think that there isn't that much risk, right? Well, think again after watching this shocking encounter. If you fall into a group of dolphins while paddleboarding, it's important to avoid crowding or disturbing them. Calmly move away and continue enjoying your activity. Although that probably won't happen to any of us very soon. What would you do if a massive black bear slowly walked toward you? According to this hunter, you stand your ground and let the bear come to you. It's incredibly tense as the bear continues moving closer. What's peculiar about this encounter is that the beast doesn't seem angry, because if that were the case, it would have been charging. Despite the bear's calm demeanor, the hunter can't take any chances, because these big guys can be erratic in the wild, attacking you out of nowhere. So the bow is drawn, and now it's a war of attrition. The bear doesn't care for the hunter's bow, pushing forward with intent, and with the beast coming to within inches of the hunter, things are about to get dicey. That was close. We've all heard about seals being playful, but who knew that they were also hiding something sinister behind those cute faces?
Underwater?
Seals are usually not aggressive towards humans, but they can become defensive if approached too closely or if they feel threatened, especially during mating or pupping season. They primarily use biting as a mode of attack when they feel threatened or need to defend themselves, although such incidents are rare. But I can guarantee that the slap hurt more, as it seemed a little more personal. In Japan, a hunter walks through a dense forest, following claw marks and other clues that presumably lead toward a wild hog. The hunter doesn't realize, however, that he's not the only one hunting here, and he's made a massive mistake coming here because he is about to experience the shock of a lifetime when he gets to his hunting spot. So much for boar hunting. Picture this. You are entering a convenience store because you desperately need some ice to cool off this summer season. Problem is, when you were about to get some, you saw this blocking your way. What would you do? Monitor lizards are dangerous due to their powerful jaws, toxic saliva, and aggressive behavior, posing a threat to humans and other animals. For me, I would get out of the store and remind myself to never go back. Imagine this. You've just encountered a bear in the woods, so you climb a hunting stand thinking you'll be safe there. Then, the bear starts following you up the stairs too.
Bears do not climb ladders.
The bear doesn't look aggressive, but that doesn't make it any less dangerous. If anything, the woman's backed herself into a corner by underestimating the beast, and she's got nowhere to run now. Her reaction in this situation, though, is bizarre.
Get down. Down. Do you see this? This is a finger that's telling you to get down.
She acts like she's not in danger, treating the bear like a toddler and telling it to back down. Of course, the bear only wants food and won't take no for an answer, forcing the woman to take action.
Down. Okay. I'm up, you're down.
While out exploring the wilderness in an open jeep, this group of tourists stops in the middle of the road after seeing this.
Alright, buddy, it's okay. Ah. Hey!
An elephant charge is incredibly powerful. They're capable of reaching speeds of up to 25 miles per hour, or 40 kilometers per hour or more. Getting hit by an elephant can result in severe injuries or fatalities due to the immense size and force of the animal.
Stop it! Stop it! Hey!
I guess they'll have to consider themselves lucky after the giant herbivore stops at the very last second of the frightening charge. The animal eventually leaves, but not before giving them one last fierce look. People diving for spearfishing and finding massive predators is a tale as old as time. Yet these encounters feel more terrifying every single time. This guy, for instance, has just come up against a great white shark. The shark's extra aggressive, chowing down on the hunter's spear. What makes this even more terrifying is that it keeps circling back, trying to find an opening to attack the hunter. The spearfisher knows what he's doing, though, successfully repelling the shark's attacks and keeping it at bay until he can safely swim back to his boat. This group of tourists can be seen driving through a dirt path when all of a sudden they encounter a small group of very large elephants. One of the elephants decides to charge them, and they decide to ignore it, thinking it was bluffing. Unfortunately for them, it wasn't. Elephants can become aggressive when they feel threatened, when their young are in danger, or during the mating season due to hormonal changes. It seems like most of the boxes that needed to be checked for this elephant to get mad were checked, leading to this unfortunate attack.
Get out, get out, get out, get on the car, get on the car, get on the car, get on the car.
Fortunately, everyone managed to get to safety despite a really close call. A group of friends drinking in an open field suddenly get the encounter of a lifetime after a curious animal decides to join them.
Come on. You must have us all trapped. Spit on it. Let's spit this back.
Back at him.
The llama walks around the people surrounding it, smelling their hands and faces to investigate the situation.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
Take a leg from there.
Llamas are generally docile, but they can become aggressive if provoked or feel threatened, potentially kicking or spitting as a defense mechanism. A few minutes later, another person joins the group, being a little late. Unfortunately for him, this llama hates latecomers.
Oh, turn your back, Joel. He's gonna hump you, Joel. He's gonna
A follow-up video later shows everyone safe and the group laughing about the encounter. While out exploring Kaziranga National Park, this tourist decided that it would be a good idea to get a closer look at a rhino and its calf. The large animal immediately notices the Jeep approaching and decides to teach this explorer a very valuable lesson. Rhinos can be highly protective of their calves, using their large size and strength to defend them from potential threats. After getting charged, the tour guide finally realizes the danger they are in and proceeds to fire a shot in order to scare the charging animal. Fortunately, the animal quickly stops charging after hearing the gunshot. Deep in the jungle, hunting expert Fred Eichler floats down the river in his boat when he encounters 3 brown bear cubs running in confusion. And that's the moment he realizes he could be in deep trouble. The thing with bear cubs is that usually their mother is nearby, and trust me, you do not want to incur her wrath. However, Fred and his crew have already scared the cubs, and things are about to get dicey. In the blink of an eye, a massive brown bear leaps out of the forest and charges Fred and his crew. But even though he's only got a split second to react, Fred fights back valiantly, firing warning shots and sending the bear back into the woods. Giraffes are iconic African mammals known for their long necks, distinctive coat patterns, and towering height, making them the tallest land animals. Most of us have been conditioned by movies and TV shows to believe that giraffes are docile, harmless animals despite their towering size.
I'm not gonna give him, but
Okay, and I don't want to give.
Most of us also know that this is untrue. Unfortunately for this group of tourists, they realize this all too late, as the animal proceeds to do this.
Oh my God.
After getting hit by the kick, the woman immediately falls to the ground unconscious, leaving the others with no choice but to run for their lives. According to the source, after getting treated, the victim made a full recovery. A small canoe with 2 tour guides and a tourist can be seen traversing a long and dangerous river in search of something. Because of their skill and luck, the guides managed to track down a terrifying predator hiding behind the bushes near the river. Normal people, after seeing such an animal, would certainly run away, but the tour guides had other things in mind. After a while, the guide loses his grip of the terrifying snake, and you would think that they'd leave it alone after that. Unfortunately, you're wrong.
Meu Deus.
Anaconda's size, strength, and potential aggression when threatened make them dangerous predators, although they typically avoid humans. The animal eventually starts getting too hard to handle, leaving them no choice but to let it go. Most of us think that elephants are gentle giants that are tolerant of humans. Some even believe that they do not attack humans. Unfortunately for us tiny humans, this could not be further from the truth, as just by watching this clip, you'll see the reality of nature's giant. The screams and cries of the people on board the safari jeep could be heard from miles away as the elephant continues attacking them. Elephants are incredibly strong and capable of carrying heavy loads, uprooting trees, and exerting force with their trunks. After a while, the giant animal finally lets them go and leaves them petrified. These hunters are out looking for some elk, but just when they've stumbled upon some in the wild, something strange happens. The elk don't fall for their whistles, running away instead, almost as if there's another threat nearby. They move further to investigate because the situation is very fishy, and it's only when they turn the corner that they realize that they could be in deep trouble here. Navigating through a pack of wolves is no joke, and the hunters must be conscientious around them, hoping the beasts are generous. A motorcyclist can be seen driving along a dirt path in the middle of a savannah, minding his own business, trying to get home. If you think driving a motorcycle is dangerous in general, then think again after watching this terrifying video. The rider immediately stops and hopes that he doesn't become lion dinner after encountering such a dangerous predator during a trip. Lion attacks on humans are rare, but they can occur, especially in cases of provocation, surprise encounters, or when humans encroach on their territory. Even though lion attacks are rare, it's essential to avoid encounters to prevent potential harm, as lions are powerful predators with unpredictable behavior. His luck seems to be on his side that day, though, as the animal leaves him alone. Boar hunting can be tricky, because these little beasts are quick and don't hesitate to fight back. This hunter's been waiting for a chance to take one on with nothing but a spear, but the boars keep turning away before reaching him. Well, until one does decide to show up and humiliate the hunter. And what can only be described as one of the most spectacular encounters ever recorded. A diver goes underwater to hunt invasive lionfish when an unwelcome guest decides to show up. The shark seems to have seen red with the captured lionfish, pouncing on it like it's famished. But with the hunter trying to move the spear away, the shark gets agitated and things take another bizarre turn. The shark leaps toward the diver and bumps into him. It keeps trying to attack the diver, chowing down on his spear and getting close to biting him. What's crazy about the encounter is that it's all extraordinarily chaotic and happens within the blink of an eye.